Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. We're going to have questions at the end if we can. So you can follow along with this webinar by pressing the arrow keys back and forth, and there's a transcript shown below. So welcome. I'm pleased to see that you're here and joining me. And today we're going to look at the video interview. It's a long-standing feature of corporate recruitment and one that has expanded into the everyday since travel restrictions have applied. They're here to stay because they're very cost effective to implement. There's no travel time for staff or candidates, no travel expenses, and they can be delivered on demand through a platform of pre-recorded interactions or live. A large local employer has told me that this is the biggest deselection tool they have. They choose candidates for the role, but as many as half of those invited to take the video interview simply do not do so. So that means if you're offered a video interview, when you take that step, there are fewer candidates if the others have dropped out. And with a little prep, you'll be an excellent candidate for the job. So take questions in the chat and we'll deal with them at the end. Ooh, that's gone to two things. So this session aims to explore the different types of video interview, how to prepare, and how to perform well. And news just in, this morning I was at a labour market information update with prospects, and what I learned this morning is that interviews online are definitely here to stay. And they're going to stay for the reasons explored in this session. But they're also a test of your ability and readiness to work from home. Working from home is an option for many of us, and it may well be the way that you start your new job. So it keeps jumping across two slides, so thank you for your patience. So there are essentially two types of video interviews. There's the live versions where a specific time and date will be given to you, and these are more or less the same as an in-person on-site interview. On demand is where you record your answers in your own time and send them back to the employer to review when they're ready. And you can expect to see the questions and have a few moments to prepare an answer before pressing record. Employers do this because not interviewing candidates face-to-face represents a really important time saving for the busy manager, and they may have the opportunity to share and scrutinise interviewees' answers in more depth. On-demand interviews also provide access to a wider pool of talent, including people who are passive candidates, whose ability to interview at a specific time is limited by their current work or family or maybe study commitments. And we'll move along to how you can prepare for your online interview. For either option, and as if you were going for a face-to-face normal in-person interview, preparation is key. And this means that you've researched the company and the role thoroughly, have practiced common interview questions, or even tried a mock interview and addressed appropriately and professionally. However, there are a few additional steps you need to take to ensure your video interview runs smoothly. So do remember that first impressions count. You want to impress the interviewer from the get-go, so make sure you dress appropriately from head to toe and are on time for the call. It's always best to log in a few minutes early for some last-minute technology checks and to ensure you're well positioned in front of the camera with your head and upper shoulders in shot. Try to make sure you can pick a quiet, well-lit spot that's clear of any clutter. And this will show the interviewer that you're organised and prepared for the call, and if you're going to be working from home, that you're ready and willing to do so. You need to have a little practice, and you may not be used to talking in front of a camera, so take a little time to have a practice. You could call a friend, do a mock interview with us in careers, and pay attention to your body language and your voice and your background noise, and ask for feedback on how you're coming across. Make sure you're really familiar with the video tool you're using. It might be Teams, Skype, Google Meet, or Zoom, and they all work in slightly different ways. So get to grips with them and it will help you feel much more confident. And it will also reduce the risk of any accidental technical glitches. A don't would be, don't let technical problems ruin the call. Because you're properly prepared, there's a minimum risk of anything technical going wrong. Make sure your internet connection is working, your camera and your microphone are all working properly, and your laptop battery is fully charged before you start. If you miss anything the employer says because of a technical glitch, just ask them to repeat it. But if the problem persists, calmly let them know and then take charge of fixing it. For any type of interview, treat it in the same way as you would an in-person interview. And practice is key to top performance. So do let your personality shine through. While the setting might be slightly different, the purpose is the same, to find out more about you and whether you're a good fit for the job. So getting your relevant skills and experience across is important. The interviewer would also be looking out to find out whether you're a good match personality-wise. So be yourself and try to act as if you were face-to-face with the interviewer. And mind your body language. Make sure your body language is setting the right signals. Have good posture. Making eye contact with the interviewer will show you're alert and fully engaged with the conversation. When the interviewer is talking, show you're listening by nodding and smiling. And don't forget to make eye contact with your interviewer. You're looking at the camera, but not at them on the screen. Try not to get distracted. Your focus should be on the interview at all times. Doodling, typing, or looking out the window will be a clear sign that you're not really engaged, and they might interpret it as a lack of interest. Looking at them, at the camera, will also help you to read their responses to what you're saying. Prior to the interview, make sure you're not going to be interrupted by those phone calls, housemates, children, or pets, and switch off your phone and all your computer notifications and tell everyone in the house you're about to have an interview. Try not to rely too heavily on your notes. You might be tempted to make detailed notes prior to the interview, but if you're constantly referring to them, it can become distracting. Having a copy of your CV, though, close by with some relevant points highlighted is a good idea, along with a list of questions you want to ask. But don't write out full answers to potential questions. A better way to prepare is to practice some commonly asked questions, or doing a mock on-demand interview or in-person interview with us in careers. This next slide gives you a handy acronym, PPETS, as a reminder. And that talks about your picture, your posture, your eye contact, the technology, and the sound. So to help you practice, we have a 24/7 on-demand platform. There are a set of pre-recorded interviews that you can practice, or you can choose your own questions that are relevant to the role that you're applying for. And in the chat, in the transcript underneath this slide, there is a link to a helpful video to get you started. Now, make sure my slide will work. Here we go, practice by appointment. If you're not the sort of person who likes to do things 24/7, or you would like to talk to somebody, a real person, to have a practice interview, you can contact us in careers. You'll need to send through some details of exactly what you're being interviewed for. So you do need an actual interview in your diary, not just practicing for the sake of practicing. So you'll need the job and the person spec and the company details. And one of us will prepare some questions that might be used for the role. And we'll focus on the ones that are likely to come up, ones about the skills that you're being asked to demonstrate, and to give as much notice as you can to us so that we can prepare. So moving on, if you want to explore this in more detail, we've got a range of different online video skills, some little online preps that you can have a look at. The links to these specific things are in the transcript shown underneath the screen. And I'm not quite sure why you can't hear me. If the sound went off partway through, that's very unfortunate. The guys that are there, I can start again and we can take it from the top, but might have been nice to know that my sound went off halfway through. What would you like to do, guys in the room? Let's have a look. I'm just waiting for it. Oh, how strange that it went off just before the link came. Absolutely bizarre. Who would know how that would work? Oh, I saw somebody typing and then they disappeared. So I'm hoping then that you got most of it. Anything that you have missed that you would like to review, the session has been recorded and it will be available on the careers pages, and there is a transcript for anybody who needs the additional transcript. So you got everything you needed, I believe, if you got everything up to the link. So that's good to know. If you have any particular questions about online interviews or questions about careers, I'm very happy to answer those now. Brilliant. So people who are with me, if you would be kind enough to tell us about the particular session, that would be really useful, and then we'll know what we can do for you in the future. But I'll say thank you very much and goodbye if there's no further questions. So thanks for joining me today.